Hello guys, it's me, Rao, and I wanted to talk about the Clockwork FLP. So, here's the whole thing. It looks way more intimidating than it actually is, I promise. This piano line, let's just start since, this is the thing that I did first. This little guy. Right, you can already assume that's like just a piano, of course. If we take off the effects, it's a little less. But what makes it sound so metallic is because I have the velocities up really high, and then I also can use those to kind of like play around with the phrasing of it. So the velocity here is really important. And the fact that it's really high is what makes it sound like they're kind of slamming the keys, which is what I wanted. And then I just accentuate that a lot with some compression. Exhibit A, right here. Like if I... Oh my god, okay, hold on, wait. What is this guy doing? So I just slam it more. And then this guy is an octave up, but really quiet. So we have... Just to add a little extra percussiveness to it. I also just want to say the way I wrote this line is I heard it. I can't really explain much else than that, gonna be honest. I just kind of heard that line, was like, yep, cool. Okay. Then we have these perks, which are, I believe... I use them all over the place, but these are... Yeah. So... I think it's in here. No. Okay. Lupo Wine Cellar Sounds. It's one of these. It's some collection of like these. I used a bunch of just random Foley. I searched for some. I used the ones in here especially a lot. Is it this one? No. Steel tank, stainless steel tank, concrete tank, drain. So I just kind of picked up sounds like that and arranged them. Right. And that kind of was cool. More fully, this I randomly picked up from Codley's server. This guy I just searched up for basically like a metal door, just since Clockwork, I needed something cool. Yeah, you can tell it's processed. Where is it? It's this guy. You can tell, I think it's pitched down. Yeah, and it has... This guy. It has some, like, EQ and filtering and stuff. Wow, that is a stark EQ. Okay. Also, these all get processed separately. I should mention that. These guys... Like, they sound like this. Right. There's a transient shaper on them, and then just a little extra reverb. And then all of them pretty much have their own EQ and distortion. That's how they're processed. It's just a tiny detail. Anyway, then these, this guy, and then cymatics loop. There's actually a lot of processing on this guy. First off, it's pitched down. No, it's pitched up. Then I compress it. Give it a little extra percussiveness. No, I don't even know what I'm doing with this compressor, but it's there. There's a compressor there. And then I frequency shift it down. Then distort a little. And then I have this balance for when I want to like fade it out and stuff. And then there's this sound. This sound's actually cool. This sounds interesting. So, it is a very weird patch. If I take off all this, I think there's more than one layer to it last I checked. No? Okay. If I just have the noise. Okay, right, noise. Then we have these two guys, and they are not adding much. They're mostly the click and just a little thing fading back into the click. Right. And then the post-processing kind of carries this sound. And for this, I actually analyzed like an actual recording of Steam. And I just filtered it as such. This frequency shifter is going up. Right. So it sounds like that. That's pretty much all the Foley here, excluding just this extra little guy. And this guy. And this guy. And then this guy is kind of goofy. I think this one's also like pitched up or down or something. There you go. Little EQ, some frequency shifting down actually a bunch, a little more EQ, and some distortion and some compression. You'll notice I frequency shift a lot of these around so it's not entirely obvious exactly what they are. Okay, then I have this guy. Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay. Alright. It's literally a kick drum and a hi-hat. It's actually two kick drums because we have this guy. And then we have the kick drum here. I don't know which one it is, but it's one of them, and then it's layered with a cymbal. It's kind of cool. It exists. And then I have a lot of the same sounds from before. So I think this is this guy. Yeah. This I've already gone over. This. Oh, this is a new one. Just more stuff from the same pack. This is another thing from the Wine Cellar pack. This is another thing from the Wine Cellar pack. Yeah, and then we got this guy again, right? This is a reverse version of, I think, this one. And there's also a reverse thing here. I should go over, this is how I'm doing my sidechain. This volume automation right here so that I can really fine tune it. And I do that a lot in my more recent stuff. Okay, now I wanted this hit to be big. Oh, one last thing here. I'm going to go over that sound in a second. So I wanted this hit to be big. So I have all of these, right? So that's everything that hits on beat one together sounds like this, right? So you can hear what I was doing here. This is the same piano from before, and it's just playing an E flat and then a power chord on top. This is a few things. So this is low brass. They might be filtered. Let me check. Okay, they have some EQing. Just to make sure they don't like, since without it, it's... Right, and I just want to attenuate it a little. And then there's two layers to the low brass. And then there's this super saw layer, which is here. So it's just like your stereotypical acid super saw kind of bass, and that's really about it. It's just an acid bass with some filtering on top. This part of the song isn't very sound design heavy. Once I get to the more sound design heavy parts, I will talk about it more. Right. Okay. So now this guy, these two guys. This is a piano with a bit crusher on it. Without, right, so first we have the bit crusher. It's really simple. The melody here is also quite simple. There's nothing like crazy going on. So I'm pretty much just gonna go through this part unless there's something. Oh yeah, okay, there's these G sounds down here. So there's this guy. Once again, a supersaw ARP with some compression, reverb, EQ, whatever. Nothing crazy. This guy is a little more interesting. I just wanted something to fill up space, and so literally what I did, get ready for this. Why does it do this? Can I hit the unmute button, please? Unmute, here we go. Yep, that's what that sounds like. And then it just gets put in the back here and just muffled. And then it also gets slowly louder as that section progresses. Okay, now we have, this is the other, like, this is the main sound design thing, this entire, like, part of the song so far. I'll even put this on there. Okay, so we have this guy. Another just low supersaw with a ton of reverb that fades in. So you're like, oh, okay. And it also gets louder that whole time. So it like really just overtakes. And then there's this guy. This is a little more interesting. So the detune on the unison is slowly getting further and further apart. And so it creates that really like dissonant texture you get at the end. Okay, now we get to talk about sound design. First, let's go over this. So right, we have the kick from before. I think it's the same kick, right? It's a louder version of that kick. And then we have this snare. Get ready for this. It is, I'm not sure if I actually have it, but it is a recording of me doing mouth clicks, like, and I layered 3 of them, and I just processed them a ton. So it's a ton of compression, distortion, filtering, as per usual. It's what I always do. And that's how we get this sound. Right. A little bit of frequency shifting as well, so it's not super obvious. But it just worked really well as a snare, and so I just used it as a snare. And so we got... you know, this like fat, hard-hitting drum groove. Now we have this. This is a little goofier. So we have the steam, right? We have the little... but like a louder version of the steam. And then we have this guy. So this is a huge layer. It consists of... this is a faceplant preset I have that's a sine compression base with a lot of really weird FMing. This was just me messing around. I can't explain the theory behind this, but I just messed around a lot and then I distorted it a lot. So like without all that, it's... one second. like. And then, you know, then the second layer. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what it is. And then the third layer. This is just a sine compression bass with the lows really boosted. That's it. And then, you know, Right, so that's the bass part of that, and then... Right, so that's that bass. This is a little funkier. This is a double sine reese. I use this all the time. I have, I think, 2 mixer tracks of effects on it. So, there's a lot. Without this, in fact, hold on, 38. Without any effects on this guy, it is, right? So, doom, wait. And then we have, so, going in order. Distortion. By the way, what I mean by double sine, I should have explained this. It's literally 2 sine waves that are detuned from each other based on this LFO. And so I change the rate that they go in and out of phase. And that's how I make this reese bass. Anyway, distortion, compression, EQing, distortion, compression. This distortion's a little funky, and then compression, distortion, compression. This compression is very funky. I don't know what I was doing with the highs there, but I was doing something. More distortion. This specifically, I use Destructor for the asymmetric option because it tends to give a much lower quality to the basses that I make. Then we have an EQ. Another distortion. And then we have another set of effects. Another EQ. This one's just boosting some mids. A chorus. So it gives it that extra little movement. Distortion again. Another EQ. And then another EQ. And this EQ is doing that. And then some reverb. Right, so now we have the... This is the other funky bass here. It's the Serum 808 patch. It's another sine compression bass with a little bit of unison on it, and then some distortion. Right, and so it's... And just making it hit the right way without it being overwhelming it took forever on this bass, and I think that's why, like, this envelope shape is the way that it is, and the way the distortion isn't that much, but then I boost it more. It's a whole mess, but at its core, the sound is really simple. So, right, this whole section is... Oh no, this is the one I had to fine-tune a bunch. It's the same thing, but look at this. This is the panning. This is the envelope on it. I think this panning, yeah. And then I have a bunch of extra stuff on there. So you can tell, like, this took a lot more effort to make work the way I wanted to. But once again, there's nothing, like, crazy going on. And then we have some little Foley hits. This is just, I think it's literally... No, hold on. There you go. That's that whole thing. This guy, it's just some Foley with a reverb thing on it. There's nothing crazy. Altogether, you know. Here I layer in the amen break. It's very quiet, but you can kind of hear it. Then I have this fake kick, Right, it's just a lesser version of the kick I already have, and then this fake snare. And it's the same thing, but pitched up and less distorted. And then at the end, I just go. So here I layer in the higher octave of the piano. And then this part was really cool in the melody, so I just... and then I displace the kick. And so this guy is this sound. It is another phase plan preset that I've just had for a long time and never had a reason to use. If I take off all the effects from it, it'll sound quite different. So it is a saw wave with unison and a triangle wave and a tiny bit of noise getting... The noise gets high passed, I think. Yeah, the noise gets slightly... What? Wait. Okay, so I have these two things. This goes into here, then it goes into there. Oh, this goes into here, which goes into there. Okay, so this guy goes into lane 1. Then this guy modulates it slightly, and it doesn't go anywhere. Then we have, to turn this guy off, I have this mix. Then I have a tiny bit of noise that gets high passed. And then I have this extra sub under it. There's some distortion, some EQ, exactly what you'd expect. Take all this off. This passer is a little bit interesting. It is a low mid high split, and I put basically a default vocoder on the mids only, so that I can get the watery mids, but I don't mess up my lows and highs, so it still stays as gritty. Then we have a compression, a little bit of EQ, apparently only in the highs. Then we have this guy. This is functioning similarly to a kilohertz disperser, where I'm just taking the lows and I'm delaying them slightly, and then an extra distortion. And then this bass is the same thing, but with some longer LFO time, so it can play a longer note. Let me see if there's anything else here. There's nothing else here. Okay. Then I pretty much just copy and paste the exact same build-up from before. But I add this shakuhachi on top. So, right, this is a Contact default sound library, and it's just the reverb is really what's giving it flavor here. That's it. Then we also have the stereotypical brass stabs, the Pandora burst from Monorail, and I just tamper them off a ton. Aside from that, the first half of this section is the exact same, except for when I add this guy in. Which is pretty self-explanatory. Here's the sound design section. I've already gone over this bass, and a lot of the Foley. But this, if I take off all the effects, get ready for this. So we have, and this is that sound thrown through Edison Blur. No, Edison denoising, and it doesn't need Edison denoising, so it ends up creating a ton of weird artifacts. Then we have all this. This is 8 choruses straight. This actually is a very interesting technique, because you'll hear it come up again, and I'll show you that when it comes up. But like, I've made stuff like it's like super messy, but when you get it like just right, it's crazy. So we have that. then a wave shaper, then EQ, then compression, then a vocodex, which is actually doing carrier modulation, so I'm going to keep it off for now. And then another 8 choruses patcher. Yeah. So now we also have this guy. Fair enough. And then we carrier modulate them. And that is that sound. Oh wait, but with some extra compression, distortion, and such. It's, yeah. So that is that song. Okay, this is the Reese from earlier. This is just a either saw or square. Either saw or square wave. Let me check. This is a square wave with some unison getting LFO, so it goes dun, 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 and then I have a multi-band delay on it, and that's what's making it sound. This sound is absolutely crazy. It came from this sound design jam, this sound design jam. And I've pretty much used it religiously ever since, right? This is the audio file that it's from. I'll show you a few other instances that I've used it in a second. And then we just have, right, this is just muffled first drop. Right, so. And then the entire thing over a mid-tempo beat now. And then there's nothing super special to go over for the rest of the song, so. Right, so that's the whole Clockwork FLP. Congrats. I'm going to load this, and I'm going to hope that it loads, and then I can show another thing that I've made that uses that like weird sound design jam. I might have actually taken it out in one of the more recent versions. I'll see if it's in the old version, or if it's in this version. Wow. Oh, here it is. So yeah, this is another thing that I've been working on, but it was really just a sketch I did for fun, so I doubt it's gonna get finished, but. Right, you can hear a lot of the same kinds of sounds. This is, I think, an earlier version that used that one sound a lot more, as you can tell. And then I just did it. Yeah. So there's a few. Oh, I know what that is. Anyway, so you know, I just reuse my sound design jams a lot. There's a lot of value in doing that. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed Clockwork. It's a song that I spent forever on, and actually I didn't spend too long on it, but it's a song that I really like, and I'm glad with how it turned out. So yeah.